Caledonia, welcome back to the Pacific. I'm Alice Lolohea. Great to have you with us.
Ne poanga anim I te Johnson Raela. Let's take a look at what's coming up on the show.
We go inside the lucrative world of gecko poaching in New Caledonia.
Tonga's Lulutai Airlines in strife. What next for the embattled national carrier?
And we get up close and personal with social media star Drew Afualo.
They say bad things about me all the time and it has not slowed me down, has it?
Let's go to Alice with some news first. And last week there was lots of commotion around the Solomon Islands vote of no confidence. Where did we land with that?
Yeah, we thought there could be some fireworks, but in the end, Jeremiah Manele has survived an attempt to unseat him as Prime Minister.
So how are you feeling after this hurdle?
All is good, all is good.
It all started when 10 MPs resigned, including former Prime Ministers Manasseh Sogavare and Gordon Darcy Lilo. The dissenters filed a no-confidence motion accusing Mr Manele of weak leadership. In the lead-up to the vote, security in Honiara was ramped up. But over the weekend, Mr Manele shored up support, convincing opposition members to cross the floor and take up ministerial portfolios. By Tuesday morning, the escalating political drama simply fizzled out, and the motion was never brought forward.
There's no need for us to come and create a contentious situation in here. We basically allow the room for the country, to return to normalcy.
Having outmaneuvered two former prime ministers, Mr Manele said he was ready to get back to work.
I thank the MP for Central Honiara for withdrawing the motion. That shows leadership. That means putting national interest first. This week we give time for our new ministers to settle down. Then we'll resume on Monday.
And in Fiji, Acting Commissioner of Corrections, Sevuloni Naudukindi, was only appointed a little over a month ago. But whether he remains in the role is unclear after a video showing the prison chief in a bar brawl went viral. Filmed at O'Reilly's bar in Suva, the video shows the acting commissioner in a physical fisticuff with an unknown man as staff attempt to contain the situation. Naudukindi appears to be bleeding from his forehead. It's not clear if the video was filmed before or after his appointment as head of the country's prison service. But it's now been shared widely, with many calling for Naudukindi to be sacked. Naudukindi was appointed to prison chief after the previous FCS commissioner, Dr. Chalesi Nakarawa, was suspended for allegations of misbehaviour. In his April address to Namboro prison officers, Naudukindi said he was told to go and rebuild the image of the Fiji Corrections Service by Fiji Prime Minister Siti Venirambuka. The PM is yet to comment on the video. Meanwhile, police spokesperson Wame Mbotolu told the Fiji Times that a complaint has yet to be filed with police.
Online shopping. It's just the way the world works now. But did you know that with one click you can buy the world's biggest gecko?
Social media and online marketplaces are driving demand for New Caledonian geckos, but many of these species face extinction in the wild and poaching is putting them further at risk.
Yasmin Wright-Gittins went to New Caledonia with Cooper Williams for this report, filmed by Nicola Job.
The story was also supported by the Sean Dorney Grant for Pacific Journalism through the Walkley Foundation.
It's late afternoon in Riviere Blue National Park, and we're headed to find an elusive, endangered and internationally prized commodity, the humble gecko.
Qui sont vraiment endémiques à la Calédonie, mais en plus micro-endémiques à certaines régions, certaines vallées de l'île.
There are more than 60 native gecko species in New Caledonia, including the largest and some of the rarest gecko species in the world. Joel's a ranger here. He's agreed to take us on a sensitive mission to find these scarce species in the wild.
Les feux, c'est un gros problème en Calédonie. Donc en fait, plus les années passent, plus l'habitat des geckos diminue. Et si on vient en plus en prélever dans la nature, ça va encore diminuer la population et ils risquent de disparaître.
But there's another threat too. These geckos are the target of poachers. They fetch thousands online and are prized on the collector market. And for rangers like Joel, that's become such a problem, he doesn't want us to film how he finds them in the wild.
Puis après, tu sais, c'est tellement...
After a long search, at midnight, we strike gold.
Yasmine, viens voir, vite. Je viens d'attraper un gecko.
Oh, wow! Wow, c'est géant! Wow!
Soon, we've found another. And after a while, it's hard not to see their magic.
Unfortunately, it's these rare, unique features that make New Caledonian geckos a target for the online pet trade.
What's up, everybody? Today I have a very exciting video.
I am back with another unboxing video.
Today I'm rating my gargoyle geckos.
David Utrera is a gecko influencer with more than 100,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
There has been a big boom in interest, especially after COVID. Those COVID years where we saw a big increase in sales for these animals. And I think it's partly because of social media and how easy and how docile they can be.
50% off crescent geckos, gargoyle geckos, and everything else on the website.
He acquires geckos from breeders in the US and sells them. He says he's conscious to ensure they're ethically sourced. While some dismiss the trade as cruel, Mr. Utrera disagrees.
In the last couple years, I've seen a big movement towards more of like that conservation and preservation of the species, and where they used to ask, what's the minimum cage requirements for this animal? Now they're asking me about how to make a bioactive enclosure where it's like a whole mini ecosystem. That was the whole reason why a lot of us are interested in these animals in the first place, is to see them interact in their native environment, and we get closer to that through keeping them in a more naturalistic way.
He also argues there are so many geckos in captivity, he doesn't think the pet trade contributes much to poaching.
The cost of producing them here in the United States, for example, is so low, and it's so easy to produce them.
But that doesn't mean authorities aren't worried. Dr. Aaron Bauer has worked identifying geckos in New Caledonia for over 20 years.
I had been contacted a number of years ago by the district attorney's office in Los Angeles, who found somebody coming into the US who had, I think, 100 geckos sewn into the lining of their coat.
Dr. Bauer has seen firsthand how publicity can drive rapid and targeted poaching events.
I know for a fact that one of the species that I described a number of years ago, based on 4 specimens that occur in an incredibly tiny area of just a few hectares, they are now common in the pet trade. It is disturbing that an animal that we evaluated as being critically endangered, within a few years of discovering this, it was showing up in the pet trade. It gets out through word of mouth.
So what does law enforcement say is happening on the ground? I've come to Namia's Tonga Airport to speak with customs officials.
Bonjour, je suis Yasmine.
Jasmine, bonjour. Le trafic d'espèces animales et végétales dans le monde est en explosion. Et malgré la Convention de Washington, eh bien, ça représente un trafic de 20 milliards de dollars par an, selon Interpol. Et au niveau national, on est à plus environ 30% d'augmentation de la fraude sur les espèces animales et végétales.
Ranger Tiffin Reed recalls one of their most notable smuggling busts.
We caught the people, and they had geckos on there that were alive, so we knew they were for the international trade. And they went to the justice, and of course they got a high fine, and they were banned from coming back in the country as well. So if you get caught, then chances are you'll be fined, you'll go to prison, and you won't come back in the country. When they're out of the country, it makes it really hard for us to do anything. Our mission today is to make sure that nothing leaves the country.
For conservation efforts, that mission is more critical than ever. In 2024, the International Union for the Conservation of Nature listed 75% of New Caledonia's assessed endemic geckos as threatened. While the report named poaching as partly to blame, Mr. Utrera says far from hurting, gecko enthusiasts could be helping the wild populations.
The lesser rough-snouted gecko, it's actually a live-bearing gecko that's native to New Caledonia. It's a very rare species in captivity and very rare in the wild as well. But in captivity, there's very few people that work with them. And I wanted to, God forbid, we find out that in the wild they're actually extinct now. I wanted to make sure that for future generations, we could show them, oh, look, this animal comes from New Caledonia.
But at Noumea Zoological Park, staff say the conservation and protection of New Caledonia's geckos is their responsibility.
Alors c'est le rôle des zoos parce que nous on est habilités à faire de la reproduction, à faire des échanges entre zoos pour un brassage génétique et garder une espèce. Les seigneurs ne pourront pas protéger l'espèce parce qu'ils ne pourront pas créer cet échange, ce brassage génétique, etc. vu qu'ils font tout illégalement. Déjà des espèces qui sont menacées parce que dégradation du milieu naturel, de l'habitat. Pollution, ce genre de choses. Et imaginons l'excuse, mais j'en prends qu'un seul, etc. Ça va pas... Mais si 50 personnes en prennent qu'un seul, ça fait 50 animaux qui disparaissent en fait.
Bonjour, Marianne.
Zoo manager Marion Bonzon says locals can unwittingly become complicit in the trade, and the only solution is education.
Alors, il y avait une vidéo des Américains. Ouais. Il y avait une vidéo qui était passée sur les réseaux sociaux. C'est des Américains qui expliquaient comment capturer et où capturer des geckos. Donc il avait expliqué tout le cheminement, où, quand, comment, à qui s'adresser pour avoir des entrées. Et, voilà. Parce que le braconnage, c'est aussi une participation des populations à la capture, et qui n'ont pas conscience en fait, de l'importance de la protection de notre patrimoine, parce que ça reste un patrimoine génétique, un patrimoine culturel, donc à tous les niveaux. Et c'est important de participer à sa préservation et sa protection.
C'est dommage.
Dommage, oui. Mais bon, on y travaille, c'est ça qui est bien, mais ça prend du temps. Je trouve qu'il faut quelques générations avant d'avoir une prise de conscience. Mais on y arrive quand même, tout doucement.
Let's go back to Alice now and citizens of PNG serving in the ADF. It's a discussion we've had on the show before, but it's looking more likely it could happen.
Well, if the latest reports are anything to go by, yeah, it could be on the way, because Australia and PNG are set to begin negotiations on a new defence treaty that would see Papua New Guineans serve in the Australian Defence Force. The two nations share a rich military history dating back to the Second World War. That bond is set to strengthen, with Papua New Guineans soon to be able to join the ranks of the ADF.
It will be the most significant defence agreement between our two countries since Papua New Guinean independence.
News of a defence treaty came in February, and while negotiations are still underway, this week the ADF confirmed to the ABC that PNG recruitment was part of the deal.
Any proposal would be in both countries' interests in support of our mutual security and prosperity.
It comes after the two nations signed a landmark security agreement in 2023 and inked a deal for a PNG NRL team in return for strategic assurances designed to lock out China. So, can anyone in PNG sign up, and will they want to serve in the ADF? PNG soldier Derek Levi spent 3 years seconded to the ADF. He says there would be countless Papua New Guineans willing to serve.
They would get an overwhelming number of applicants. It would be an employment opportunity, with the pride of wearing a uniform.
The ADF is falling behind on its recruitment targets, and PNG officials say Australia has indicated it needs thousands of Papua New Guineans to join. But applicants will be assessed by the same standards as Australian recruits. That means PNG applicants will need to pass education and fitness eligibility requirements.
In a long-running saga, troubling times continue for Tonga's national carrier Lulutai Airlines. Since its launch in 2020, Lulutai has faced mounting financial pressures and operational setbacks that's impacting inter-island transport and business across the island nation. Marian Kupu has more.
The turquoise waters off Vava'u, where humpback whales migrate to breed and birth between July and October, attract tourists from across the world. But the future of Tonga's whale-watching industry is hanging in the balance, with the country's only domestic airline in crisis. Lulutai launched in 2020 and has been plagued by financial instability and operational inefficiencies, resulting in frequent cancellations to Tonga's outer islands, causing widespread frustration for travelers and businesses. The Tongan government has invested around $13 million into the airline, but in February, CEO Boasite was sacked by the government after it was revealed Lulutai borrowed $6 million from Tonga's retirement fund, an investment some are calling too risky. The knock-on effects are especially damaging for Tonga's vital tourism industry and inter-island travel.
It's like a yo-yo, it's like up and down, whether it's whale watching or business or any other needs. And it's very important to connect all the islands through by air or by sea. It's very satisfactory.
Takitoa Tamoepeau owns a whale-watching business on Vava'u and is unsure if current bookings for tours will go ahead.
We want to get in touch with our clients there to make sure that their flights are confirmed and not only coming in and also going out, which is very important.
Look, he can't control it. There's something wrong on the...
Safety concerns have also plagued the airline. This online video shows passengers having to evacuate a flight after encountering steering problems trying to depart Ewa Island. The mismanagement of the airline and its close ties with the government has been used as political ammunition. In 2023 and 2024, it contributed to 2 no-confidence motions brought against former Prime Minister Huakavameliku Celsi Sovaleni. At the time, in a speech read by Lord Tangi, King Dupo VI called for the government to be more transparent and less involved in business ventures.
I think government should be trying to run an airline, whether it's domestic or international.
To unpack this further, we're going to head now to Nuku'alofa, where Marian is standing by. Marian, maloilelei, talitali fiefie, koe polokalama.
Malopito Johnson, ihe ekukaume ke polokalama.
Now, Marian, you recently spoke with the Minister for Public Enterprises. What's the latest with Lulutai Airlines' operational status?
Tonga is once again talking about Lulutai Airlines, and for a good reason. It's the country's only local airline, and when its planes stop flying, remote islands are cut off, medical evacuations are delayed, and the economy takes a hit. In an inclusive interview with ABC, Tonga's Minister of Public Enterprise, Biveni Bigala, confirmed the airline is still struggling. Only 1 aircraft is currently operating, with another still grounded awaiting engine repairs. Now, Johnson, the government has now asked for a $2 million emergency fund to keep the airline going ahead of major national events to the outer islands.
Now, Marian, we know that there's been talk about possible privatisation. Did the minister confirm if the government is looking to sell Lulutai?
Johnson, the Minister Biukala told ABC the government has no plans to sell Lulutai outright, but they are actively looking for partners to help run it. He also confirmed 2 companies have already expressed their interest. He also added that while privatization is not off the table, the government must first protect the public's investment, especially the retirement fund, which previously loaned the airline 6 million paanga.
Now, Marion, what are the broader political implications, considering Lulutai has been mentioned in recent no-confidence motions?
Well, the problem with Lulutai have gone far beyond just planes. They have become very political. With Tonga heading to the polls in November this year, how this airline is managed could influence voters' trust in the government. The latest report that ABC have obtained is a confidential report that was prepared by the Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade, DFAT, was previously presented to Lulutai's former management. It also laid out 4 possible ways forward for Lulutai, focusing on which aircraft the airline should use to stay profitable and reliable. But all these options depend on whether the government can repair or replace a broken aircraft that's been out of action for months. While for Tonga, Johnson, the stakes are high, with tourism season approaching and islanders needing reliable access to services. The future of Lulutai Airlines could affect more than just travel. It could reshape the country's political future too.
Marion, malo pito.
Malo pito, Johnson.
TikTok's crusader for women might have gained popularity for her hilarious takedowns, but Samoan social media personality Drew Afualo has evolved beyond her online presence to become a successful podcaster, an interviewer on Hollywood red carpets, and a New York Times best-selling author.
Reporter Dinah Lewis-Boucher had a very early start to connect with US-based Afualo on her career highs and hear her words of wisdom for the next gen of Pacific influencers.
Hey y'all, it's Drew Afualo, and I'm here with my friends at HBO at the season 3 premiere of The White Lotus. Get into it, yeah.
It's Drew Afualo. Drew Afualo, thank you so much for being here.
We are joined by one of the biggest social media baddies. She's a Polynesian powerhouse. She's a Samoan superwoman. Drew Afualo, talofa lava, and thank you so much for sharing with us today. With an audience of more than 9 million, tell me, what does being Samoan mean to you, and how has it shaped your voice through your platform?
I think being Samoan has really shaped who I am as a person and the confidence and conviction I hold my beliefs with. It's also a big reason why I'm so family oriented. This industry is insane and this business is insane, and you know, fame is crazy and weird, and it just completely warps your view on things. And I feel very humble when my family's with me, let me tell you. This industry can make you not humble. It's also a big reason why I hate bullies. My family has always been very protective of the vulnerable, of people that are seen as weaker in society. So I feel like being someone, being raised someone is a big reason why I'm so protective and why I have a very fierce, loving streak. And also why I'm really good at making fun of people.
Like I said in my video from yesterday, the ability for men to buy microphones and speak into them and broadcast their involuntary abstinence to the world, a curse. A curse put on this earth.
Also, by the looks of it, you were born when Pangea was still a thing. Why are you talking about girls today?
Can you tell me, you know, often in your work you challenge stereotypes. How do you think mainstream media misunderstands Samoan identity or Samoan culture?
Oh, that's a great question. It's just a lack of exposure more than anything. Here we have him, the star of the movie, the one and only Black Adam, aka Dwayne Johnson. Hi! I've been talking about representation a lot tonight with Aldous, with Sarah. So what has it been like to not only bring an anti-hero to the big screen, but also a Samoan Black superhero? What does that mean to you? How does that feel?
It's an honor and it's a real privilege. I've been really lucky over the years to have accomplished a few things in my life that's been pretty cool. But I've been saying that Black Adam is the biggest and most important movie of my career.
I feel like most people's perceptions of Samoan people start and stop with The Rock or they start and stop with athleticism and being the biggest, being the fastest, being the strongest. But I would say that they're some of the best dancers, they're some of the best singers, musicians, just all around extremely talented in many, many ways that are not just physical. I do think it's changing. That is the good thing. Everything about my face and my build and my height and everything is so inherently someone. Like, I am someone to my core, phenotypically and inside. I would love to see like more Polynesian women cast in mainstream roles, cast in recurring roles on TV and movies. Like, I would love to see their songs chart. I'd love to see them tour. I'd like to see them do all of the things that white people have been doing forever. I would love to see that.
Okay, that's a work in progress.
Do you have a career highlight today?
I mean, there are many, and I don't say that to brag, maybe a little bit. I would probably say right today, I would say it's being the first woman ever to make the New York Times bestseller list. That's probably my proudest accomplishment today. Period. That's how I felt when I saw it. Period.
What advice would you give to young people looking to build a career in, social media as you have?
Well, the first thing I always tell people is if you care at all about getting hate, any sort of hate comment, whether it's like on your looks, on your thoughts, on your personality, this is not the job for you. And this is not the job for everyone. I truly think if you have something important to say, if you have something impactful to say, and you are a good person, I think the universe will reward you with a following of some kind. And I would say to keep going, because someone's gonna say something regardless. They say bad things about me all the time, and it has not slowed me down, has it? Not even a little bit, clock it. I know that sometimes it feels like we have to kind of put those pieces of us, like kind of dim them down a little bit, because Eurocentric beauty standards, Eurocentric behavior is what's platformed. It's what builds audiences, right? It's what catches fire in algorithms. But I'm living proof that it doesn't have to be that way, right? For my last name to be on billboards, to be in New York Times, to be on my book, it's imperative that they see us.
That's our show for now, but next week we're bringing you a special episode on gender-based violence in our region and what can be done to stop it.
Remember, you can catch up on all our stories and the latest on what's happening across the region on ABC Pacific Socials. Thank you for joining us. Mō te.